Well, for the first time, I'm definitely not voting blue. Hi folks, this video is a long time coming, and I've finally made my decision on where I'm going to vote politically. Before I get into where I went and why, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, and comment on this video. And I appreciate you all. And so how do I start? I've been voting blue my entire life. The only time I ever didn't vote blue was 1990 something, when I voted for the first term of Christy Todd Whitman, who was the only pro-choice Republican back then. And that's the only time I ever voted Republican. And I hate this election so much. I hate this election because, yeah, everybody hates each other. Nobody's talking. But really, what's gotten me upset about this whole election, and I've been thinking about it so much, is that it's pitting my core values against each other. It's pitting pro-choice and separation of church and state against due process and freedom of speech and cops. And I have been so torn about for whom to vote, because no matter no matter where I cast my vote, I was going to be voting against my core values. Donald Trump is a buffoon. He's a buffoon. Nobody in the world thinks he's a good president. At least I certainly don't. He's done some good things. He's done some things that I agree with. His opportunity zones was a good idea. And his support for the global legalization of homosexuality, I mean, I can't stand behind that enough. And I also fully support his elimination of critical race theory from armed forces training. Great idea. And that's pretty much where it ends. Well, he seems to be making Middle East world peace. The Abrahamic Accords seem to be happening, and it seems to be Jared Kushner who's making it happen. So I got to give Trump credit there. And frankly, Middle East peace is big. Okay? But what he's done against the separation of church and state, in my view, is unforgivable. What he's done against a woman's right to choose, I think, is unforgivable. What he's done to undermine the faith in our government, which I think he has done, is unforgivable. The way he politicized masks wearing, really bad leadership. I cannot and will not vote for Trump. On the other hand, Biden is obviously corrupt too. Everything that I'm seeing from everything from the left is saying, "Oh no, it's all Russia." But the more neutral news sources are saying this is real, and he's involved, and that's obvious, right? Because you can't be a multimillionaire politician for 40 years and not be corrupt. But really, what bothers me about Biden is not so much Biden himself, it's what he will empower. And I just had this really long conversation with David Smalley, where we talked about, because he's more progressive than I am, and we had a really great civil conversation, two good friends who disagree. It was wonderful. And we came to a conclusion. The reason that he's voting for Biden is, among other things, he believes that the protests and the riots and the far left woke will lose their steam when they get their president. And I completely disagree with him on that. I think they will be full steam ahead with Biden as president. And what that means to me is critical race theory being taught in schools, critical race theory being taught back in the armed forces, which means math is racist, science is racist, math is relative. 2 plus 2 doesn't always equal 4, because some people in other cultures think 2 plus 2 equals 5, and that's equal to us. And then, of course, due process, Me Too, all the other baggage, and top of the list is the asinine idea of defunding the police before you replace the police, which is exactly what the Biden supporters are doing in Seattle right now. And human beings are going to die. Black lives are going to die because people are going to defund the police before they build up the police force with other stuff. It's asinine, and it's nothing I can support because human beings are literally going to die because of this. So I have been put in this situation where I can't vote for either of them, and I won't. And so I live in the state of Washington. Washington is always blue, and therefore my vote really doesn't count. If I vote Trump, I mean, I wouldn't vote Trump, and I won't vote Biden. So the only way that my vote's going to count is if I vote third party. And so I'm going to vote Jo Jorgensen for 2020. I have seen a little bit of her, but it frankly doesn't matter too much about her. She's libertarian. She supports gun rights. She's pro-choice. She's small government. She's against mask mandates. But again, it doesn't matter because she's not going to win. What is important is that this is the only way that my vote as an individual can actually count and matter. Because if I've got to look at Biden and Trump and choose between the two of them, I choose to say, fuck no. Give me someone better. And if I live in a state where it's going blue, then my vote is actually kind of wasted unless I do this. My vote is wasted if in the state of Washington, my vote is wasted if I don't vote Jo Jorgensen, because the state is going blue. Nothing I can do can stop the state from going blue. But I can add my vote to the national count to get Jo Jorgensen above the line so that in 2024 we can maybe have a better roster, maybe a third candidate, a third party, and maybe that will give us some choice. That won't be between one corrupt piece of shit versus another. I'm so pissed at the Democrats for taking anti-due process, anti-free speech, and critical race theory. I can't believe they forced me out. You morons. I'm not voting blue or red this year. And I think that you shouldn't either. I think if you live in a state that is definitely blue or definitely red, you should vote Jo Jorgensen 2020. Because that's the only way your vote will matter. And that's the only way we'll not have this goddamn situation again. And you know, I remember in Bush v. Gore in 2000, the pins that we gave out read, "It's the Supreme Court, stupid." The left has been screaming about the Supreme Court for 2 decades. Every election has been all about the Supreme Court. We're going to lose the Supreme Court. We're going to lose the Supreme Court. Well, then they gave us Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton couldn't win. I voted for her, but she couldn't win against Donald Trump. And then we lost the Supreme Court. And so now that it's the Supreme Court stupid argument is over. We lost. We lost because we put up lousy candidates like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. It's the left's fault that we lost because we couldn't put up a candidate worth anything. We couldn't put up a candidate that was likable and competent. So the Donald Trumps won. And they won the separation of church and state. We lost it. And so this election, the Supreme Court is lost already. And so if the Supreme Court is lost, now is actually the time to vote third party. Now is actually the time to vote Jo Jorgensen, Libertarian. I think that if we are in the situation where we all admit that the choices suck, we all admit that Biden is corrupt and Trump is corrupt, we all admit that Biden is on the decline and that critical race theory is fucked up and that the left is crazy, the far left is crazy, and we also all admit that the far right is crazy and that Trump is a buffoon. We all know this. And they're both corrupt, they're both crooked, they're both using their position for money. And we're saying, and every time I say something about Biden being corrupt, the chorus is, well, Trump is bad too. That's not the fucking thing. Trump is bad too is not an answer to Biden is bad. The answer to Biden is bad is, yeah, they both suck. And we have to do something. Brett Weinstein was doing the Unity 2020 campaign for a while. I thought that was a great idea. But that's over now. And now we have to actually put pen to paper. My ballot is in the other room. I have not decided where I'm going to vote in Congress and congressional seats yet. I'm not going to vote for a progressive. I'm not going to vote for Governor Inslee. I'm just disgusted by the left. I'm just disgusted. The nastiness I've received on Twitter. You're thinking I might be wrong? You are a Nazi. Unfriend me. Jesus Christ, folks. What are you, fucking children? We may disagree politically. I'm not an alt-right guy, but I think Biden may be crooked. Therefore, I'm a Nazi. Therefore, I'm a racist. Therefore, I'm just as bad as whoever you want to say I'm just as bad as. You're idiots. And you're part of the reason that I'm not voting left. Because I don't want that in our schools. I don't want that in our military. That mentality is putrid and disgusting, and I spit in its face. Diversity is good. And diversity doesn't mean everybody is black and agrees with everybody. Diversity means different people from different backgrounds and different thought patterns adding to the whole. That's diversity. And so, in conclusion, I feel relief. I feel relief. I don't feel guilt having decided to vote for George Jorgensen. I know I would have felt guilt voting for either one of them. And so I would like you all to consider a vote for third party this term. It's no longer the Supreme Court. It's no longer anything. And we no longer have two viable candidates. It's not about the lesser of two evils anymore, because the lesser of two evils has more evil in a different category on the other side. So it's not the lesser of two evils. It's two evils bashing it out, saying you're bad if you don't vote for this evil. No. It's time to move on. It's time to leave the blue party and the red party. And it's time to vote Libertarian for me. And I hope you do the same, especially if you live in a blue state or a red state where your vote doesn't matter unless you do this. I hope we get some good politicians in 2024. And I think one way to get those good politicians in 2024 is to add to the race, vote Libertarian 2020, and get a third person on that stage next time around. And that's where I'm going. Thanks.